be in this very forest.
Ah! Isn't it? So the biggest difference between them would be the frame rate. So the 3D world is at 25 frames per second, but the 2D world is between 4 and 6 frames per second. This basically means that in the 3D world you've got 25 drawings a second, so it's really nice and smooth, but then you go to the 2D world and you've got 6 to 8 drawings a second, so it's a lot more rough and bumpy. So the 3D animation was really straightforward. We had a great team of 3D animators working on it and they've all done a really amazing job. But when it came to the 2D animation, we had a lot more challenges. So the biggest kind of issue was working at such a low frame rate, how we were still going to successfully embed the principles of animation, which is basically what makes animation work. So to try and get these principles into such a low frame rate took a lot of trial and error. But fortunately, my storyboard artist, Yasmin, came to the rescue. So back then this was just an idea, it was just a project I was doing for fun with a few friends, so time wasn't really an issue. So they basically created an animatic for the 2D world, and because time was an issue, they were able to really take their time with it. The drawings now were really nice and even added colour, which is something you wouldn't typically do. Animatics are meant to be really rough sketches that you do really quickly. But when they showed it to me, I really liked it. It was like that missing piece was exactly what I was looking for, is what I think the project needed. So we set out to make the 2D world resemble that of any animatic, which is where we got rid of lip syncing, so the character's mouths don't move when they speak, and it's just kind of pose to pose to pose. So then when we put that with our environmental art that Anne and Alison did, it all came together really nicely, creating this world that felt like it was taken straight out of the storyboard, which is like a really nice effect considering this theme of storytelling in the movie. Sure, so there's actually going to be a separate behind the scenes that focuses solely on the environment. So you basically follow me on a field trip to the New Forest National Park, which is where the 3D world takes place. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, you're absolutely right, the environments are super important too. They're a really great tool to show us where the film takes place and convey its mood. So this film takes place in 2 parts of the UK. So Kaylie and her friends live in Hampshire in the southwest, whereas Jack and Benson are from Norfolk up in the east. So what's really cool about these 2 different locations is they're really different to each other. So Norfolk is really flat, there's lots of marshlands and it's got windmills, whereas you go to Hampshire and it's really hilly and mountainous, it sits above the coast of the sea. And then basically, with these key geographical differences, we can really convey that the story is set in 2 different places. And this was really important because what the film does is it cuts so much between the 2 different worlds. If you don't have significant differences between your locations and in your art styles, it's going to be really hard for the audience to follow what's going on. So that whole kind of process, thinking about that and finding ways to make that work, was a really cool thing to do during the film's development. Yeah, of course, so that's actually really quite simple. So right now we're in Dorset, that's where we're based, the 2 of us, right? And then if we go next door, we've got Hampshire. And all I really wanted to do with this movie was just get to know the area a bit better. So instead of setting it in Dorset, which I already know, I decided to take things next door to Hampshire, as it gave me the opportunity to get to know that area a bit better. And then, as I kind of said before, this alternate 2D world needed to have very different architecture to sort of what we see in the main world. So I could have chosen loads of different places for this, and the reason I went with Norfolk was because my family are from there. So myself, I'm from South Yorkshire, but my family are from Norfolk, and so the place is kind of significant to me anyway, and I've not really visited it much. So really it was just a good opportunity to get a bit more in touch with that heritage of mine, while sort of bearing in mind how these worlds need to be different. I think, to be honest, the project has a little bit of something for everyone. So it's got drama, it's got cute animals, it's got romance, it's got good morals, and it's got some really nice heartfelt moments too. So it's really hard for me to just pick one, but I guess my favourite would have to be the 5th scene. So without giving anything away, this is basically the scene that has the most emotion, and all the different elements of production, the voice acting, the animators acting, the cinematography and the background music, they all work so well together. It's just sort of a really beautiful scene, you can really feel what the characters are feeling. So I guess, yeah, that would have to be my favourite.